Hi, everyone, and welcome to your Science and Social Studies block for today. Today, we are going to be working on tying shoes. I have a shoe here that I'm going to point you down at in a second, and I'm going to show you a few different ways to tie shoes because every child learns differently, and there's tons of different ways out there right now. So we're going to go through 4 different ways, I think, of different ways that you can tie your shoes so that they have lots of options to choose which one works best for them. Tying shoes can be very difficult because it builds off of their fine motor skills. So if they don't have very good, strong, fine motor skills in their fingers, tying shoes can be difficult for them. So there are some ways that help with that because it gives their fingers more time to rest, which is why I'm giving you a variety of options. But let me tell you, your first grade teachers would love you if they could tie their shoes when they come to first grade. So let's get started. I'm going to point you down here so that you can see my shoe. And we're going to start with the way that most of us learned how to tie our shoes. So we're going to crisscross. You make an X with your shoelaces. Then you're going to take the one that is on top, the one that's closest to you, and he's going to go over and then back through the hole. And then you just pull it down. Okay, so let's go through that step again. We're going to crisscross, take the one closest to us. So if I were to pull it away, it's closest to me. It goes over and under through the hole and pull down. Then you make 2 bunny ears. So see how this requires both hands to work, which is why this one's actually very difficult for them because it requires them to use both their hands. And usually one hand is not as strong as the other. But you have your 2 bunny ears. You're going to crisscross them again, just like we did with our X. And the one closest to you, the one on top, goes over and under and through the loop. Let's go through that again. So make 2 bunny ears. You crisscross them and make that X. The one on top goes over, under, and through the hole, and you pull tight. That is the first way of tying shoes. The second way is very similar to the first way. So you start with your crisscross. You pull the one closest to you. It goes over, under, and through, just like we did on the first one. But this time you only make 1 bunny ear. You take your other straight lace and it's going to go over on top like you crisscross like we have been. And it's going to go through the hole. But you're not going to pull it all the way through. You're only going to pull it part of the way through to where you get another bunny ear and then you pull. So it's kind of the faster way, which is probably the way that most of us are used to doing it. But you make that 1 bunny ear. You crisscross with just a straight lace. You push it up through the hole until you get another bunny ear, and then you pull tight. Our next way is a way that I actually learned from one of my kindergartners last year. I had never seen this way. So you start off like normal. You're always going to start with that crisscross at the beginning, over, through, under. Once you get to here, you take the end of the shoelace, the plastic part, and you tuck that into the hole of the shoe. So you push the plastic part through the hole like that, so it's back through the hole, and you do that for each side. It automatically gives you 2 bunny ears to use. So if they're struggling with holding on to those bunny ears, this is a great trick. So you just push the end back through the hole. They have their 2 bunny ears, then they can crisscross their bunny ears, come through the hole, and tighten. Now with this way, it doesn't make it super tight, so usually you want to do a double knot so that it actually stays. And then they just pull their ends out of those holes so that they're not poking their feet, and they have a tied shoe. So let's do that one more time. So I crisscross like normal. My main first step always. Then I take my corners, or my corners, the ends, stick it back through the top hole on both sides. I have 2 bunny ears now that are easier to hold on to. I crisscross them. The one that's closer to me goes up, over, and through the hole. I pull down, and then I just do it a second time because usually this doesn't keep them very tight. So I do it a second time. I have a double knot. I pull my ends out of the holes, which is kind of hard with these shoes. They don't want to come back out. There we go. And I have a tied shoe. So that's step number 3. The last one that I have to show you is one that I learned from an OT specialist, which is an occupational therapist. And they work with kids who don't have very strong fine motor skills. So this one is one that definitely helps with giving those fingers a rest in the middle. But you start just the same as you normally do. You make the X, the one closest to you goes over, under, through, pull down tight. Once you get here, they do it again. So they're going to make that X again. The one closest to them goes over, under, through, but they're not going to pull this all the way down. They're going to leave a circle. And what they're going to do is they take the end and they stick it back through to make a bunny ear. They do it with this one too. Stick it back through to make a bunny ear. And now the goal with this one is you pull tight without losing your bunny ears. So this one it has some difficulties to it as well, because if they make too big of bunny ears and then try to pull tight, they're going to pull the shoelaces out from the inside and they're just going to make a double knot. So that is the trick to this one, is you can't make super big bunny ears. You have to make kind of small bunny ears. Stick those ends through the middle and pull tight. And then double knot. You're always going to want your little one to probably double knot because they're not going to make it very tight. So that's kind of what I've learned being a kindergarten teacher, is that when they do learn how to tie their shoes, they usually don't pull it tight enough that it comes untied within minutes. So telling them to do a double knot, a second knot on top of it, always makes it stay, and then they feel much more proud about themselves because they usually get frustrated when it comes untied minutes later, and they get down on themselves, and then they don't want to tie their shoes, even though they have the ability. And it kind of leaves like a lasting impression that they don't like tying their shoes. So if they do that double knot, it's going to make them feel more confident and more like giddy, I guess, that they actually tied it and that it stayed tied. So the double knot is the best thing ever. But those are 4 different ways to tie shoes, and I hope that they have a great time. If they can tie their shoe, please send me a video. I'd love to see how many can learn to tie their shoes. Thanks. Bye.